Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page right here at Facebook, where I do this daily live stream all around the divination card that I draw in the morning. Yeah, so welcome. It's Monday, April 15th. I know. What's the April 15th date? Taxes. Taxes. Yeah, we finished ours a few days ago, and let me tell you, the path to finish up the taxes for Star Nation's organization was kind of long, kind of at times tedious because of all the receipts and all that stuff that has to go with it, right? And actually working with one of my BFFs from my grade school days through high school to present, Marley. She's our bookkeeper, and so she made it fun, to spend some time with her. So, but it's done. It's all done and done in time. Yay! Yay! Hopefully, you all made it through as well. That annual thing, right? Yeah, I'm just checking. Thank you, Stephanie, for doing all those postings. Appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. Today here in Tomah, Wisconsin, we have a beautiful day. It's like 43 degrees out there, and or probably even close to 50. Yeah, most of that snow is going to be melting today, and we're back to spring. We spent at least a week in winter, and now we're back to spring. So before we get too far down the road with the cards, what I'm going to do is share our live stream that we got going here over to my newsfeed. And I would invite you to do as well, to share it out, to like it, and to share it. It helps us to be in the newsfeed a little bit more often. So those that are searching for a spiritual conversation, a spiritual community, a seeker of knowledge, right? They'll be able to find us a little bit easier. So I'm just going to let my friends know that I'm live streaming. And then inviting them to please join. Here, got to put a period there and then spell correctly. That's a good thing. There we go. There. That'll work. And Stephanie has already shared it to our other pages and all the groups for Star Nations. We thank you for that, Stephanie. And here we go. I want to make sure my sound's turned down so we don't get all squelchy. There. That works. George is with me today. It's Monday. He knows that we're working. He's laying underneath the table, ready to hold that sacred space for us, huh, Georgie? Yeah. This past weekend, Georgie had quite a busy weekend. Yeah. Paul took him to the dog park a couple of times, the one that's here in Tomah, and he met a couple of new friends, and they got to play. And I know that he really does need that playtime with other four-leggeds, because they have a certain way of playing, and we can't do that for him. And so trying to find him four-leggeds to play with. And so Paul took him down to the park, and then we went and visited a friend of mine, Bonnie, and her daughter Tanya, had supper with them, and he got to meet a grandma four-legged. She's 13. Church is trying to play with her, and the 13-year-old just wasn't having it. And so Georgie had a kind of busy weekend meeting other four-leggeds. Kind of nice, huh? Yeah. Hey, Marie is here. Marie, it's good to see you in the chat. Good to have you here. And thank you for liking and sharing. I appreciate it. Oh, by the way, I figured out what was going on with the subscription thing. Yeah. I figured it out. There's a box that needs to be checked. And when, let's see, how to explain this. The company that we work with that converts our PDF into digital, right? We've been working with them for 5 years, and they did an update not too long ago. And when they did that, thank goodness, they did mine for me. And when that happened, they didn't recheck that box. And so it was easy enough to fix, just had to locate it, and it was easy enough to fix. So you're all set. You're all set whenever you're ready to do that. You can do the subscription no matter whether you want to do 3 months, 6 months, or annual. So, yay. And thank you for letting me know about that, because I wouldn't have never known. If somebody didn't say anything, I wouldn't have known. So I appreciate it. She says, I was just thinking about that today. Yeah. Yep. It's all fixed. It's done. It was an easy thing to do. Thank goodness. Because when it comes to that technology stuff, and not just the computer, but the internet and all the apps, and and all of that, it can get kind of overwhelming sometimes, because I 99% of what I do for Star Nations is from my laptop, and we are truly a global community. And so, the people who help me, Stephanie's in Colorado and Julie is here in Wisconsin. Sharon's now in Wisconsin. When Sharon was in Hawaii, that was sometimes fun. Different time zones. Elm is in Oregon. I'm sorry, that's not right. State of Washington. Yeah, state of Washington. And so, yeah, so it's only good that I don't get too overwhelmed with it. There are days when it happens. But I've learned also to reach out and ask for help too. It's like, okay, I should see this in front of me, but I'm not seeing it. So somebody come over and look over my shoulder, not really, but even though they're in a different state, and it's like, oh yeah, there it is. And so it's easier to have help. That's for sure. All right. So the card draw today. I should probably let everybody know, for those people who may not, let's see, I always hold this backwards. Oh, there we go. This is the card deck we're using. Oops. Oh, that lighting is really weird, isn't it? I don't know what that was. Okay, so it's a Sacred Path cards. They're by Jamie Sams, is the author. I don't know why that is being washed out like that. That's weird. There we go. Talk about technology, right? Even the lighting. Sacred Path cards by Jamie Sams. Yeah. It was published in 1990. And so, bringing it up to date, when we're getting the information from her through the text, sometimes what we have to do is kind of expand it a bit, because we're in a completely different energy field than when the cards were created, right? Doesn't mean that the base information isn't irrelevant, because it still is. It's just that we have to take a look at it from a couple of different perspectives, and include that we're in a completely different energy field, right? And so I really like these cards. These were one of the very first cards I ever bought when I started doing this for a living, right? Some of you don't even know that story, do you? All right, so back in 1996, Paul and I had moved closer to Madison, because we had both gotten jobs in Madison. And Madison is our capital. It's in the south central part of the state. And I had already been kind of searching. I was one of those seekers, right? Because most people don't even know this about the Native American culture. Yes, we're when you grow up in a traditional home, you grow up with ceremony, you grow up with knowing about spirits and that sort of thing. But it can kind of get convoluted, right? And in many times, unless you actually join one of the more traditional religions, you don't really get all of the information either, right? And at the time, I hadn't been invited yet because it's not like a church that you can just go in and sit in the back and that kind of thing. No, you actually have to be invited to join. It's kind of like a closed society. Okay. And so here I am, I'm seeking, I'm asking my mom questions and that kind of thing. And I'm reading all kinds of books. Now, remember the internet really didn't get started until 1996. Yeah. So it was a lot of reading books and starting down that path. And many times we didn't find the kind of information we were looking for, except in positive mental attitude books, because a lot of those books were channeled back then. And so anyway, that's how I started down this path. Well, fast forward, I read a book by Denise Linn. It's called Sacred Space, and it was one of those thunderstruck moments. It's like because I knew what she was talking about without even knowing, right? Not studying it, and it was all about space clearing, and and so anyway, that's how that got started. And I went and studied with her and got my certification in something that I already knew how to do. And it was just putting a framework around it so that I was using the similar language and vocabulary that other people were using, right? And so I was working for the state of Wisconsin. And I started having clients kind of on the side, you know. I had already started doing that in 1996. I was already doing my own house with feng shui. I was helping friends and family with feng shui. But it wasn't until I actually got my certification that I actually started, you know, telling people that's what I was doing. All right, so that's kind of how I got started. And when I bought this first deck was just before I taught my very first drum making workshop, and that would have been in 2003 or four, something like that. Yeah. So even though the cards are copyrighted 1990, the base, the essence of them is still relevant. It's just that we just have to take it into the information into our energy field, right? And expand it. And so just kind of interesting side note. All right, let's see who else is here. Julie Hedges. Hello, Julie. She says Notre Dame in Paris is burning. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Mom was just telling me that as I was leaving the house. She says a few days after the black hole M87 was discovered. M87 is a BH in a black hole in Virgo constellation. Okay, to Libra zodiac. So new interaction of divine feminine Virgo and Notre Dame Our Lady. I'm just processing. Wonder what the sacred path says. Oh, well, that's interesting. Yeah. As I was leaving the house, I had taken Mom in her tea, and she goes, "Look at this! Look at this! This is Notre Dame Cathedral is burning." I said, "What?" I said, how did it start? She goes, they haven't said yet. They don't really know. It was under renovation, cleaning and repair. And they don't, when I saw it, the spire was already gone. So, hi, Rochelle. Good to see you here. Back to reality. So you're back in Michigan, are you? Done with the road trip. Those are fun though. Road trips are fun. Yeah, that the Notre Dame, I mean, come on, it's an ancient structure, right? And it has deep, deep meaning for many, many people, many souls. And the fact that it's burning, that's when you think of fire, it's about purification, right? And transmutation, change, huge change afoot. That's for sure. Yeah, and about the black hole. The thing is that science has known about black holes for a long time. It's just that this picture of M87 was proof of a theory, right? Um, Yeah. Julie, do you know much about Black Lilith? Black Lilith? Because it feels that something like that is connected. And where is Black Lilith right now in the astrology? Yeah. Hi, Pat. Good to see you here. Yay, Pat's here. Rochelle says, went to a drumming circle last Friday in Asheville, North Carolina. Bought a small drum. It's so Aw, I wish I would have known you guys were going to North Carolina. I don't know if you saw the interview I did with Karen Armstrong. Karen Armstrong is a drum maker, and we studied together with the same teacher, at different times with the same teacher, though, for interior alignment, which is a form of feng shui. And she lives in South Carolina. Yeah. Julie Hedges is saying the old way the feminine showed up under the old rule, that's now opening to a new way with the black hole in the Virgo constellation from the black hole. Oh, all right. That's some huge movement, huh? Hello, Julie Shumway Hill. It's always good to see you here. Yeah, I didn't bring all the cards up with me the one time that I didn't, right? But the cards that did come today, let's see how we can pull this together, okay? The first card that came is the Stone People. The Stone People. And it's about records and knowing revealed. Records and knowing revealed. The Stone People, even the pebbles, they're ancient. In the stone world, they might be infants, right? But it's all relevant, I guess, is that stones do grow. They do grow in size. But they also go the opposite direction too. Where we get sand from, right, is from the grinding of the stone. A lot of times our sand was developed in the ice ages and how they get ground down by the icebergs, right? By the glaciers, not the icebergs, by the glaciers. Yeah. I have to tell you, this Notre Dame thing has really got part of my mind is over there, right? Is focused on that. And here's the thing about the Stone People that I was thinking about as I was doing the lunch dishes is, masonry. Those people who lay brick, those people who know about building stone walls, right? Stone foundations. And they look for the perfect stones in order to build the structure, right? And they know about size, they know about diameter, they know about what kind of stones can take the most pressure as a foundation, right? A stone foundation. Yeah. Can you imagine? Because most of us don't have stone foundations in our homes. Most of us. Some of us do. Some of us who have older homes, like turn of the first century homes, you may have a stone foundation in the original part of your building, your home. Got creaking going on over here too. And I was thinking about how us two-leggeds, we really do use what nature provides for us for building our homes and spaces. In the old days, they used the stones coming out of the fields because they were plowing the fields, right, to build their foundations. And they were using the standing people, the tree people, to actually get the wood so that they could build the structure, right? And in other parts of the world, they use stones to build a complete house, like the castles. And stones are record keepers. Those stones that come up from beneath the earth, right? They work their way to the surface. They work their way to the surface. Um, they're keepers of the record. They hold the history of that area. And so they even hold the history of us, the two-leggeds. What we did, when we did it, how we did it, those kinds of things. And so in some ways, no matter where we live, there are stone people keeping record of us, our existence. That's what I was thinking about when I was doing the dishes. So for those who actually use stone for their foundations, right? Can you imagine the amount of history, the amount of information is held within those walls? That's a lot. That's a lot. And when we talk about those kinds of structures, as Notre Dame, as those older churches, it's the same. It's the same. Those stones are holding the history of that area. They're keeping it. And so have you ever walked into a space and just put your hand on the wall and listened? We used to do that when I do space clearings. I would go in, and especially the center beam of the home, I'd go and put my hand on it and ask the home guardian, to tell me the story about the house. What's most important for me to know about this home? Yeah. And especially when now that we're talking about the stone people, is that when we would maybe go into a space and place our hands on stones, right? Maybe even those sacred spaces, those standing stones in Ireland and Scotland, Stonehenge. I know we can't get close enough anymore to put our hands on them, but in places like that, or natural sacred sites, like Parfrey's Glen here in southern Wisconsin, around Baraboo area. They're ancient places, and these stones carry that information for us. Anything we want to know about. Yeah. And how about all of those of us who have stones and crystals in our homes? Because we're collectors of stones. I have a lot of them. And I really do like the raw stones and indigenous stones to an area. To hold them and ask them to tell me the story and to listen to the stones. Yeah. Or where we used to live, near Shawano, which is in the north central part of the state, in our backyard, there was we lived in a tiny, tiny little burg called Caroline. The whole township was 485 people. It was little. But there were stones everywhere, huge stones. And we had this huge stone in our backyard that the very crown of it you could see. And it was, I don't know, it had to have been about 4 or 5 feet in diameter. It was pretty big, maybe even bigger than that. I used to go out there and sit on it and ask it to tell me stories about how this all changed, the changes that were here when they built the house. Because the house that we bought at the time, I think it was, the addition was put on in 1901. The original structure was built in like 1870 something, right? And so the stones carry that history. They're record keepers of the land, record keepers of the land. The whales are the record keepers of the oceans, right? Yeah, stone people. How many people in the chat like to collect stones and crystals? And do you ever sit with one and listen to what it has to share, to say? Yeah. Back up a little bit in the chat and see what I missed. Okay. Rochelle's, we were talking about South Carolina. She goes, we didn't know we were going either. You just headed south, wherever you were going to head, right? She says, we decided on the way to Toledo Art Museum, decided to take off to a place on my bucket list. Oh, good for you guys. Good for you guys. Deb found some gorgeous rocks, serpentine nodules in Lake Michigan last night while a snowstorm occurred in this morning. Wow. A snowstorm? It's still snowing over there? Oh my goodness. All right, we got a little bit more information coming from Julie Hedges. She says, there are 3 Liliths in astrology. Black Moon Lilith in a point in space at the moon's apogee, the furthest point that the moon reaches in its orbit. And Black Moon Lilith is where we are betrayed and self-betrayal. BC Lilith was betrayed by both Adam and God per the story. Right now, Black Moon Lilith is in 28 degrees Aquarius. Black Moon Lilith is where, Black Moon Lilith will change signs, move to 0 degrees Pisces on May 4th, same day as the new moon in 14 degrees Taurus. Aquarius is about freedom, revolution, enlightenment, and humanity. Okay. So right now, Black Moon Lilith is in Aquarius. Okay. And Aquarius is about freedom, revolution, enlightenment, and humanity. Yeah, I don't know, Julie. While we were talking about it, Black Moon Lilith, that phrase, that name just kept rolling around in my mind. Black Moon Lilith. So I'm not sure exactly what that has to do with Notre Dame, but it's connected. It's connected. And what's burning is the wooden structures. It's not the stone structure that's actually burning. It's the wooden structure. Michelle said, yeah, it got me a piece of a mountain. You did? And you brought it home? Julie says, I have crystals, used to pick up rocks as a kid. Yeah, I think I did too. My parents did too. And so, my parents' home had a whole bunch of stones and rocks and things like that. And so when they sold the family home, yeah, I'm the one who got most of the stones and the rocks because my brothers didn't want them. It's like, well, yeah, I'll take them. So I have a bunch of theirs too. Yeah. One of the other things that kind of crossed my mind here is in my last trip to Ireland, I learned some new things about Ireland that I didn't know before. And when you go to Ireland, many times you'll see stone structures that don't have roofs, and they're vacant. Okay, they're vacant. There's no windows. It's just a stone structure with no roof. And I honestly didn't ask anybody. I didn't know what they were about. But I found out that those stone structures without roofs were churches at one time. They were Catholic churches at one time. And it was before they were called Catholic. They were called Papists. And when, I believe it was King Henry VIII, when he started the Church of England, right? When he started the Church of England, all of his subjects had to be under his church. And so, and many of them had been Catholics, Papists. And so in order for them to stop going to Mass and doing ceremonies at the church at the Catholic churches, what happened was that the English would come in and they would burn out the church, and only the wooden structures, such as in the roof, would burn. And so the congregation really didn't have any place to meet, right? And so they would, in order to even have their ceremonies, their Sunday masses, they had to meet at people's houses, which was illegal. And so they would end up meeting out in the middle of nowhere, out in the woods, so that they wouldn't get caught. Okay? Because if they got caught, they were killed for practicing their religion. What does that sound like? Yeah. History repeats itself, right? So the stone structure that is part of the Notre Dame structure will remain. It might get weakened because of the heat. But you know, the stones can take quite a bit of heat depending on what kind of stone they are. If they have a lot of water content in them, they start to break up, right? But if they have a low water content in them, what they do is they heat, and that's what we use in sweat lodges. And the stones in sweat lodges were called grandmother and grandfather because of the history that they carry. Yeah, and they can certainly share that with us during sweats and during the Anipis. So Notre Dame. How many people here have been to Notre Dame? Been to the cathedral? I haven't. I know Minnie. I think Minnie has. I think she has. I'd have to ask her. In Paris. And I think Sharon was the last one of our sisters circle that was in Paris. I don't know if they went to Notre Dame though. Yeah. It's by no coincidence, I know this for sure. It is by no coincidence that structure, and it's a very meaningful structure with a lot of history, is being dissolved right now. Oh my goodness, really? Wait, I got a backup one. Rochelle says Reed City had 8 inches of snow yesterday, and South Haven 9 inches. Oh my gosh. It's all that lake effect snow, huh? And Julie Hedges is saying, yes, connected, much to consider. The wood also holds stories. I have to work on it. Yeah, the wood does too. I mean, in a different way. Whereas the stones that they use in the structure holds the history of not just the creation of the structure, but all of the entire area, right? Because the stones are older than the trees. Yeah, talk about letting go, right? And changing, accepting the change. Much like what Julie was referring to in her earlier statement. Let's see if I can find this. About here. It's about the old way the feminine showed up under the old rule that is now opening to a new way with the black hole in the Virgo constellation, the divine feminine. And the person who actually was able to capture that image is a 23-year-old female. Yeah. I mean, there's probably a lot of other people involved with it too, but she was the one who is, I think, the most known right now. So it's a lot of female energy, huh? Okay, so the stone people. Here's the poem about the stone people. You know how much I like Jamie Sam's poems. Here's the poem, Stone People. Record holders of the earth, will you please explain the history that gave us birth, the truth you do contain? Like your cousins of the seas, the shells that let us hear, sacred whispers are the key to the history we hold dear. Stone people, we will hear you. Teach us the ancient ways, so we may build a future based on prayer and praise. So we can build a future. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely huge change going on, huh? Yeah. Julie Hedger says, yes, I was under construction when I went in 1998, long ago. Yeah. 1998. That was after, I think the last harmonic convergence was in 1996, I think. Was in the last ones was in the 90s. One was 87, one was 89. And Stephanie is busy with Ben this afternoon, so she can't look that up. We'll have to look it up. There was 3 harmonic convergences, and I believe one was in 1996 was the last one. I think. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Rochelle, Deb found a beautiful piece of driftwood on Lake Michigan. She gave it to me. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Oops. And Julie Hedges says, yes, a young woman wrote the logarithm that could capture the image. So much sheer, not a coincidence. I agree. I just have to work on it. Ask for understanding. Yes. Please do. And Julie Hill says, in the car driving in Adams County, 2 bald eagles just flew overhead. Really? Really? All right. So my mother would be asking you, what were you thinking about when you saw them? Because whatever it was, it's a confirmation. It's a good sign. It's a good sign, a positive one. A positive sign. All right, so I am going to go to what Jamie Sams has to say about the Stone People card. She says, every lesson of how we live in harmony on the earth can be learned through connecting to the Stone People. The fact that each rock is a part of the body of our mother speaks for itself. When we seek to slow down our minds and feel the earthing influence that brings balance and serenity, a stone person is our tool. Yeah. So their mission is to be of service to the two-leggeds. Now it's up to us to seek and accept their gifts. And here's this, is that when you find a stone in nature, okay, not necessarily in a store, but in nature, and you're drawn to it, right? And if you pick it up, you can sense energy coming from it, right? Now, if you're planning on bringing it home with you, I would like to suggest that you actually ask it if it would like to come home with you. Because sometimes it's just that moment in time that you're meant to share, right? And the stone or the rock can tell you yes or no if it's meant to come home with you. And if it's meant to come home with you, I would leave an offering, something in exchange, right? Something in exchange. So I would normally put tobacco down because I usually have it with me. But you can put anything down as an exchange. You can even just take, some strand of your own hair and put it down in exchange. Yeah. And I would like to suggest that you just not pick up the stone and take it with you. That's like kidnapping because they live in families. They live in clans. And so when we do that, we're literally taking somebody's sister or brother, child, away from them. And so, and it's possible that you're not meant to even to be together. So always ask, and if you get the yes, then to leave something in exchange. If you get the no, is to honor that no, to honor it, and leave it lay. I know it's a tough one. I know it's a tough one. All right, so here's the rest of the stone people information. It says the stone people mark a time in which knowing will be revealed to you. The stone people mark a time in which knowing will be revealed to you. Your personal records are held by these libraries of rock. Childhood memories may return and allow you to piece together a part of your personal puzzle. Memories of past lives or deja vu could bring new awareness. Whatever the case, you are now in a position to know where you came from and where you are going. A stone person can assist you in focusing your intent, dispelling confusion, changing habits, retrieving records from long ago, or getting grounded. Allow these teachers to become your allies and discover a new world. Listen to the whispers of the mineral kingdom, and your heart will know. In all cases, the Stone People card asks you to open your mind because new understanding is coming your way. This knowledge is based on earth records and may change the way you look in which you view your life. These ancient friends are the oldest children of earth and only ask us to stop and listen. So to stop and listen to the Stone People. Now, wouldn't it be something? Now, this just came into my mind. Wouldn't it be something if you could get a stone from where you grew up? Or maybe you already have a stone from where you grew up. And connect with that stone and get the story. And it's possible that stone will actually have part of your story in there. Because there's a reason why we're born in certain places and we live in certain places. That too is not a coincidence. And so, it'd be interesting to find out what the Stone People, what kind of record they keep of us individually. Wouldn't it be interesting? I think I'm going to try to do that. The next time I get down to the Baraboo area is to get a stone. I might actually have one. I'll have to look. All right. Check in the chat. Rochelle says, we will apologize to the rocks and driftwood for not asking for their permission. Yeah. It's just to give an offering, to offer for it. Yeah. It's a balance of giving and receiving, right? Julie Hedges says, yes, I ask. Yes, I leave something in exchange. Tobacco if I have it, hair, candy, food, even saliva. Kind of gross sounding. But it's not gross. This is what I learned in Ireland. That's what the old Irish do. Is that they will take some of their own hair, a strand or two, and leave it in exchange. Sometimes they'll use their saliva because that's what they have. They don't have anything else with them. And more times, they'll leave offerings for like the fairies, like milk and bread, something sweet, even a dram of whiskey. They'll leave in exchange, in gratitude, thankfulness for the help that they receive, right? Lots of times around fairy trees, there's stones around fairy trees too. And so there's offerings that are often left there. Stone people. We're so connected to them. We really are. We're fascinated by them, aren't we? The crystals and the stones. And how many of you have walked into a rock shop? Yeah. And you think, there's so many, right? There's so many. And for me, many times it felt like a humane society kind of visit, is like, take me home, take me, take me. It's like, I can't take all of you, but let's see what we can do here. I still have a few. I think quartz crystals that I bought at Bernie's Rock Shop in Madison. Um, yeah, and they were just little pieces, but had them out on the patio out in the sun and at my old house. And Paul kept calling it the nursery. That they were getting a lot of TLC and healing because of the way they were extracted from the earth. And so, and once they were feeling better, and asking, who wants to be a part of a ceremony, or who wants, I'm going to be giving gifts, who wants to go to so and so, and getting volunteers to be gifted, that sort of thing. Hey, Maria is saying, what an interesting conversation. I've been thinking about going to Mom's house where I grew up my entire life to get rock from her creek to put in my landscaping. There's no coincidence with that, Marie. Those stones know you. Those stones know you. They know your family. They've kept the record, the history of your family. And so when you go there, this is how we do this, is that you're grounded, you're grounded to Grandmother Earth, and you're centered, and you're stable, you're calm, right? And what you do is you ask before you even pick up anything, is that you ask, those who are willing to come and live with me for a while in my landscaping, is there anyone here volunteering to come with me? And just walk the property, walk the creek bed, and anyone that you feel like they've caught your interest, your eye, right? If you can, pick it up. If you can't, at least put your hand on it and ask, are you willing to come with me? Do you want to come with me? And if you get a yes, then leave a little something behind, you can use anything, really. Anything that means something to you, some people are connected to cornmeal. Some people, like me, are connected to tobacco. You could leave flower buds. You could leave just about anything, really. It's more about the intention and what's in your heart. Yeah, I think it's no coincidence, Mary. None whatsoever. All right, and so the second card that came to support the first one is called Dreamtime. Dreamtime. And it's about unlimited vision. Unlimited vision. Dreamtime. We had just recently had this card, I think of last week. Dreamtime. The poem that comes with this card says, Dreamtime teaches, I'm sorry, start over. Dreamtime teaches other realms that exist within the whole. Body double wanders here, solutions for the soul. Touching other sacred space across the Milky Way, traveling to distant stars, connecting night to day. And so Dreamtime is about, there's different meanings to how we sleep, the dreams that we have. There's the dreams that, they don't make a lot of sense. They're kind of disjointed, and you're thinking, what was that about? I don't get it. There was so many, you're trying to remember it, and it's even hard to remember, right? And a lot of those dreams are dreams that are helping us to work out our emotional being, right? And then there's those kinds of dreams that are prophetic. Yeah. Those are the ones that you kind of feel like they're happening right now, that you thought you were awake and really you were dreaming, right? There's those dreams. There's lucid dreaming. That's what that's called, lucid dreaming. But there's also dream time. And dream time is when our soul part of us, our spirit part of us, travels. It goes to different dimensions, goes to different worlds, has experiences. We meet with our spiritual team. We meet with our spiritual teachers, those that are in spirit, right? That's what a dream time sleep is. Yeah, and they too can kind of feel like, it was so real. It's like I was really there. Yeah. A lot of times in my family, we call that soul traveling. Um, yeah. So dream time. And the thing is that the information that we come back with, that we've been given, it truly is unlimited vision. It is unlimited. That's how I got my medicine dress. It was during a dream time. Limitless. Okay, Julie. Julie goes, got to jump and run. Great to be here. Good that you showed up. I love it, Julie, for bringing us information. Thank you so much for that. And so, the unlimited vision. And when we think about this in comparison with that first card about the stone people, the stone people can actually help us with that. Yes, they are the record keepers, but there's lots of stones that have different abilities. And so if we want to use a stone to help us for clarity, right? And to have clearer vision, they're there to help us innately. That's what they're meant to do. That's what they're meant to do. All right. So Jamie Sam says that the Dreamtime reality is as ancient as our universe and holds all the possible doors to every awareness. Many of the carryover souls, is what she calls them, who have been dreamers before, are awakening and tapping into their abilities to be Dreamtime travelers again. A carryover soul is one who has carried talents and abilities from other lives into the present. Usually those talents were well developed and therefore the residuals are fairly well defined during childhood. All right, now this is one of those times where we need to take the information and bring it into this different energy field that we're living in than when this was written, okay? We need to expand that because everyone is capable of doing this. And so many are remembering their past lives. Why? Because we're pulling forward that wisdom that we gained from that past life, right? Yeah. So chances of us having to travel to the past is getting less and less, and we're actually traveling to different realms to bring in new information. Or I shouldn't even say new because it's ancient, but we're remembering. We're remembering. Yeah. Okay. So in the dream time, if dream time has called to you, you're being asked to see with unlimited vision. Wipe the dust from your eyes and pay attention to the messages you are receiving from the parallel universe. Our world is pregnant with possibilities. All time is now. You are a co-creator in the two worlds and will be given unlimited sight and knowing if you ask for it. This vision may come in a sleep time dream or through a out-of-body journey. It will give you the insight that you need at this time. Unlimited vision allows any seeker to pierce the veil of unconsciousness and come to an inner knowing. In all cases, this card marks a time of seeing truth on all levels of creation. Now being given the ability to go beyond the accepted reality, the cocoon is open. Trust yourself, your allies, and your own medicine. You may now take flight. Huh. I like that. And look, here, the stone people are record keepers of ancient information, right? And through Dreamtime, we can get clarity. We can ask for a clear vision. It's unlimited. And so we're also being asked is to take a look at how we perceive. How you perceive wisdom in the time frame. Because there's really no past and there's really no future. Everything is happening right now. And that is a belief that is hard for the mental mind to wrap itself around. It's called circular vision. In other words, you can see it's round. It's not linear. It's round. Everything is occurring right now. And what we're sensing is the parallel dimension, the parallel world. But everything is happening right now. And it can kind of get mind-blowing. Because if everything is happening right now, then our past life is happening right now and our future life is happening right now. And we can tap into that. We can ask to see. It's at unlimited vision. And look, in the Stone People card, it says, get it to here. Records, knowing revealed. Knowing revealed. And Dreamtime is about unlimited vision. So we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to tap into that knowing. To the reveal. What's really happening right now with clarity? You have an opportunity. And Julie Hedges started us off with Notre Dame's change, right? The change at Notre Dame. The stones that they used to build that cathedral hold a massive amount of information. Yeah. They're to build something with an ancient foundation that's really meant for this energy world, in the new one, in the new age, the new world. Something that will support all people, all humanity. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good one. Rochelle says, sometimes in my dreams, I'm wondering if I'm dreaming or is it real? I know. Been there, done that. Brings a whole new meaning to, do you remember that old commercial? Is this live or is this Memorex? Yeah. And it kind of feels like deja vu sometimes, doesn't it? It's like, I'll be doing something. It's like, wait a minute, I already did this. I feel like I already done this. And we're just going through the motions because it's already done. Lots of times. Lots of times. It's like, okay, We'll go through because we're grounding it to this earth plane, right? And so we have to do the work for that. Mm-hmm. I know. Sometimes Paul says I freak him out still because I'll ask him something. He goes, "No, that hasn't happened yet." I said, "Yeah, but it felt like it already did." So, with that, anything that we shared today, if it resonated with you, my suggestion is to hold it close, to embrace it, and watch and see, sense, feel how the energy is unfolding around you today and where this information could be helpful. Yeah. Uh-huh. And if it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's all right. There's always tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Just let it go. Now, we're starting a brand new week here at Star Nations, right? And so we got some good stuff coming up for you. Julie Hedges is actually taking a little bit of time off. And so we're doing a replay from one of her old shows from last year called Spring Cleaning. And we're going to be playing that, or sharing that with you guys. I'm going to post it probably as soon as I get home, later this afternoon. And so you can watch that at your leisure to spend a little time with Julie Hedges that way. And tomorrow at noon Eastern time is Polly Jo LeBay in Chakra Sessions. And I believe she's talking about expanding our intuition. Hang on, I got it here. I just have to scroll up. No, that's March, not April. I was going to say that doesn't look right. I brought up the wrong one. Today is the 15th, right? I might have closed that one out. Darn it. Nope, here it is. Here it is. All right. So Polly Jo is talking about expanding your true potential. Expanding your true potential. That's noon tomorrow, Tuesday. And then my weekly show is on at 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's Communications from Home. And I'm taking something that we talked about the other day here and expanding on it. It's called The Medicine Bowl and You. It's a conversation about the sacred tool called the medicine bowl and the metaphor for our own bodies and how well or how we're connected to our soul contract. I think it's going to be interesting. And then Wednesday is Soul Connections with Polly Jo at 7 p.m. That's about healing and card draws, right? And on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time is the free mini class at Star Nations Academy closed group here at Facebook. I was asked if I could do a mini class on creating an altar. And so that's what we're going to be talking about on Thursday night. If you're not a member of the Academy closed group, don't worry about it. Just go to the Academy closed group and ask to be invited, and Julie or I will get you all hooked up, okay? All right. So with that, enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. for the daily live stream and the group card draw. Yeah. Yeah. Baba Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we meet again. Love you guys.